yeah, someone came up with presenting a challenge for younger people. We repeat this about once a year, where we have an interesting problem for younger people. We actually publish that we're going to do that over the course of a month or so. And it gets in all the newsletters. We try to publish that to schools in Cologne as well, but that didn't work out so well. Anyway, it is a challenge that is especially to younger people under the age of 23. And this year we're doing something with microcontrollers. Before that, there were also software problems like designing a chat protocol that would be tunneled over ICMP so that administrators at your school couldn't read what you're chatting about or couldn't see that you're chatting. And the idea is just to have young people at the space, have them work on a project that is maybe a bit too hard for them to solve alone, so they would learn teamwork, and after that they, most of the people who just want to pose or just want to talk big, they drop out, and you are left with the highly motivated young people that you can, after that, hand over the space to run it.
Excellent. Moving right along. The money problem. This one, oddly enough, I hear it less often than the time problem. You know, we can't, how are we supposed to do this, blah, 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 do exactly what, oh wait, do we have anyone from NYC Resistor on the panel? Uh-oh, whoops.
Huh?
Actually, no, Rose is here. Rose, get up here. Give her a round of applause for pinch hitting, because I'm just springing this up.
Get here.
Oh, over there. Okay. So what would you like me to say about money?
Well,
no, come.
Okay. Just a couple points I wanted to hit here. Start small. NYC Resistor, New York, probably the most expensive place to start a hackerspace. They did it by starting small and getting people to throw money down. Once people started throwing money down with nothing more than a dream to try to build to one day acquire a hackerspace, that made it real. That made people engaged and involved, and in a short amount of time, they went out and they built a very successful hackerspace in Brooklyn. The other important thing about money is stay independent. It's great that people donate stuff. It's great that you have donors and friends and people who are donating, contributing to you on a monthly basis or giving you huge one-time donations. But make sure that your rent, your insurance, your utilities are covered by member dues or covered somehow by the people who are directly involved in the organization. Because one day all of that funding may dry up for one reason or another, but if you have that continual base that's provided by the members and the people actively participating in the hackerspaces, you're not going to lose it no matter what happens. And you know, NYC Resistor, they started small. They are operating in a very expensive environment. So Rose, could you talk quickly a little bit about how NYC Resistor got started, how they got their space going, and how they had to increase their dues lately to cover their expenses and stay independent?
Some of you may have already heard parts of this before, but NYC Resistor started with 9 people who each put up $1,000. That was so that we would have enough money to cover about 3 months operating expenses. Obviously that was, for some of those people, that was a bigger amount of money than for others, but as Nick pointed out, putting up that amount of money then really made us be, really invested in making sure that the space worked. Our dues per month have just gone up to $75 a month. That isn't because anything terrible has happened, but partly because we want to make sure that we're keeping that 3 months of rent and operating expenses as a cushion at all times, so that nothing terrible is going to happen and let us risk the space that we've worked so hard to build. Another thing I can say about money is that we make sure that decisions about money are made as a group. Mitch was talking about consensus, and that's very important for us. And when something has come up recently, buying a laser, which was something that's very expensive, a huge capital expense, we decided that that would be funded by the people who were most excited about having a laser. And so that wasn't something that was coming out of our monthly dues, but something that people contributed to specifically because they wanted a laser in the space. and the details of how we've worked that out, you can ask us later. But that was something where we separated out a huge capital expense, and we're going to make it happen, but it isn't part of our monthly expenditures.
Exactly. The other thing is, a lot of people complain about time. People with not a lot of time have a lot of money. Find those people. Make them members. We have a lot of silent members in Hack DC, and they're wonderful. Also, Rose, I wanted to ask you, do you know the NYC Resistor theme song? Can you sing it?
Wait, there's a theme song?
The theme song that Bree had. I will try to do it if you can't, but I really would like you to do it if you can.
I can try it with you.
Apparently, I'm not part of the inner circle that knows the theme song.
You don't know it.
I'm not even a member of NYC Resistor, and I know it.
I don't know what favors you offered him, but you're going to have to do it for me.
Johannes, do you know it?
I only know it's, there's the term laser in it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's...
We want a laser, or something like
no,
that.
No, it's... If I remember
it's so
it...
American. We want a laser, we want a laser.
If I remember correctly, it's...
I want a razor.
NYC Resistor, we want a laser. Quite literally, okay.
There's no melody,
That's the whole
there's
song?
no rhyme, there's...
But, yeah. I'm not going to do that when I'm on a camera. I'd like to stay employed. Okay, the seventh most common problem when I hear, I don't have any furniture, tools, or equipment. I don't know how to insert whatever you want here. I just know how to insert whatever you want there. Oh God, you guys took that
not enough
really
laser.
the wrong way.
Yeah.
But the point of the matter is, if you have a space, if you actually lease some place for people to gather and do cool things, you will get a lot of stuff. When Hack DC started, our first big event was a parts party. We sent out an invitation to everybody in all the different tech communities that we knew about in DC to say, hey, we need parts, we need equipment, we need stuff. This is, bring it on this Sunday. They're bringing it on this Sunday. And we got tons and tons and tons of stuff. More stuff than we knew what to do with. And over the next couple of weeks, we acquired a lot more stuff. Just a quick proviso to this. If you have a space, you will probably have to throw out some of that stuff or try to sell it at cons.
And it will make somebody...
But once you actually have a space and people are involved and they know about it, they will contribute to you. Far from the Hacktory is going to talk a little bit more about this and about, just if once you build it, they will come. You will get enough stuff. There are only a few things that you might need to get enough of. Go ahead.
All right, so Philadelphia is like New York City's older, ugly sister. Really cool, really nice, but doesn't get all the flashiness. So, yeah, we're short on space. We're basically are umbrellaed by a nonprofit computer recycling group, and it was just a case of just start things rolling. We didn't have expertise. There wasn't a whole lot of interest. It was just three guys who sat around and said, let's get something going, and we just sat down and started. And a lot of times we'd go to order class, somebody orders out of their own pocket, and they order 4 extra kits. Well, now we have 4 extra kits sitting around. So when somebody says, hey, I want to do this, they don't have to wait a week for a part. It's right there. It's just little things that add up. And frankly, it comes down to the only thing that you're ever really short on is an imagination. If you want to do something and there's a problem and you can't figure it out, you're looking at it at the wrong angle or you need somebody else's opinion, because any problem you run into, you can get around somehow. You can pull somebody else in from a different community. You can borrow a piece of equipment. You can pool in with your friends and buy it. The only thing you're ever really short on is, enough creativity and enough drive to route around that situation. So.
Awesome, thank you. The next problem, reaching out to people. A lot of people get really possessive about their stuff. People, for some reason, people aren't too terribly trusting. A lot, people will come up and ask me, it's like, yeah, I've got all this stuff. I've got enough stuff to hackerspace between my 3 friends, but I don't want to share it with people. Like, they might break it or do something to it or whatever. This is a completely invalid excuse. Like I said, far away, 80%, 90% of the people that are involved in Hack DC, I just met 4 months ago or sooner than that. We're all sharing our stuff there. We all have it. And because we're all equally contributing, we're all watching out for each other's stuff. If you start a membership organization where people are throwing down real money to support it, they will watch out for it. Just a quick example, we have a refrigerator that's filled with soda, Gatorade, bottled water, things like that. And then when I first proposed to everybody in the group saying, yeah, we'll just put a little cup for money in there, and when you take a soda out, put some money in, and that's how we'll pay for and reimburse the soda. When I first proposed that, everybody looked at me like I was insane. They said, what? You're going to trust people? Like people are going to put money in? What? And honestly, we always run an overage. We have not had a problem with theft there. We actually use the money that's generated from that to pay for pizza on our Tuesday meetings and things like that. If you show people trust, they will take it and they will act like trustworthy, responsible people. Jens has some experience with this. To spring it on him because I didn't want to, because again, I don't have my panelists from NYC Resistor here. But if you just show people trust, they will take care of the hackerspace. They will take care of the tools and they won't break it. Can you talk about that real quickly?
I agree. Well, one thing that we have done, and apparently that has also been used in HackDC, was we get a lot of our budget from selling drinks at the hackerspace, and apparently a lot of American visitors we had were surprised at the fact that in order to buy that drinks, you would just have to throw in the money and the fridge, and then it worked like that. That's a small way to show trust, and apparently it works out, yeah.
The other thing that we do at HackDC is all of our public tools and equipment like that, there's a standing rule that if you don't know how to use it, ask somebody how to use it. People know how to use there's at least one or two members who know how to use every single tool that we have in HackDC, and those one or two members have a responsibility to show all of the other members how to use that responsibly. That kind of thing really works. Mentorship and teaching people and showing people how to do things, building knowledge in them, filling in gaps in other people's knowledge is one of the biggest reasons that hackerspaces should exist. But moving right along, we're doing really well. Oh, whoops.
I have to talk about the problem, of course.
Again, another problem of just straight up. Perhaps the first one was more stupidity, but the second one was just straight out theft. A lot of people, if they're not possessive about their tools, they're possessive about the space, they're possessive about their membership requirements. A lot of people will come up to me and say, I can't just let anybody become a member. I have to carefully screen people, make sure they're not freaks, how can I trust anybody? We have to have an exclusive membership because, what if, people that they don't know. Again, most of the people involved in HackDC I met less than 4 months ago. And the Meta Lab in Austria, he's actually prepared for this one, has experience that they have over 100 members.
Yeah, I guess the Meta Lab is probably like population-wise, like maybe the biggest hack space on the planet. And I mean, of course, we have problems. You have problems too. You live in a free-ish country, and we have some problems with freedomness too. Okay. The problem is, I have to go back a little bit in history because the hack spaces, the first hack spaces, were in Europe, in the German-speaking countries and in the Dutch-speaking country, and there was. Oh, yeah, of course. Okay, Europe. Fantasy. Okay. Good. So, the European hacker movement shares a similar time span with many alternative projects, and there's a clear connection between, for example, the squatting scene in Europe and the hacker scene. That may be astounding here in the States, but there is a common basis about that. And many hack spaces and many hackers are actually they have a leftist background. So especially in a pretty open field as hackerdom, you of course face problems. And sometimes you just have to find out how to kick people out, okay? or if you should kick people out. In the Meta Lab, we are pretty much a mixture between a hack space